Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to my Greek Orthodox Odyssey. Today is a special day in the Greek Orthodox calendar. It's Holy and Great Saturday, the day before Resurrection Sunday. This morning, the Greek Orthodox Church had a wonderful service known as the Proti Anastasi, the first resurrection service. And it's a beautiful service. It starts at 6 o'clock, and in some places it may start a little bit earlier, but it happens just before sunrise. And it's a service which happens once a year, and it's quite unique and beautiful in many respects. It probably comes second for me after the resurrection service on Sunday, but it comes a close second. It's a beautiful, wonderful service, full of emotion, full of sounds, and full of symbolism. And for those who are not aware, Easter Saturday is the day after Good Friday. So on Good Friday, Jesus died on the cross and was placed into his tomb. And what they say, or what the biblical account is, that he descended into Hades. And what does that mean? You know, what is Hades? Hades comes from the Greek word adio, meaning place of emptiness. And what do you mean by a place of emptiness? A place of emptiness means a place devoid of God, separated from God, and a place which is probably a scary place to be. So my understanding, my biblical understanding, and this is one of the traditions of the church, is that from the time Adam and Eve were expelled from paradise for not being obedient and following their transgressions, the penalty for all people from that point on was death. So when a person actually physically died, their spirit, their soul, went to a place called Hades. And you can imagine, just figuratively speaking, metaphorically speaking, that Hades is a box. For example, a box, a place which has an entry, but it's a one-way entry. It's an entry which allows you to go in and never to come out. And it's a place that is ruled by Satan, by the devil, and is separated from God. And that was the penalty that all humans, good and evil, would suffer up until the birth of Jesus and up until the resurrection. So what happens on Easter Saturday is it's called the first resurrection. And the first resurrection basically is, and it's symbolized by the earthquake which happened, which ripped the red curtain in two, the red curtain that was in the Temple of Solomon, the red curtain that the Virgin Mary had sewn and knitted and created during her service in the Holy of Holies. So that earthquake, that massive earthquake, that scary earthquake, ripped the curtain in two, but it also allowed the souls of all of those people, and I'm not quite sure if it's the righteous and unrighteous or all people altogether, were released from Hades. Because what happened is that when Jesus died on the cross, he descended into Hades and he went and preached to all of those souls that were entrapped in Hades from the day of the first death, the first man who died, which was Abel, the shepherd Abel, who was killed by his brother. So from that first person who died and went to Hades, right up until the last person who died the day before the day before Easter Saturday. All of those souls went to Hades and were trapped in Hades, and were going to be trapped there forever and a day. They were going to experience both a physical death and a spiritual death, is my understanding. But what happened, the great miracle of Easter Saturday, the day of the souls, the day of rest, is that Jesus descended into Hades and released all of those souls from Hades by annihilating once and for all the gates of Hades. He annihilated Hades, and it's called the Harrowing of Hades, where he descended into Hades and destroyed it, destroyed the locks, the keys, the doors, everything, so that no other soul, no other human soul would ever go to Hades and be trapped there. And hence why the Greeks chant on Resurrection Sunday, Christos Anesti, Christ is risen from the dead, conquering death through death, and providing or allowing or gifting life to those in the tombs forever after. So what we're basically saying there is that Jesus' death conquered death, and by annihilating and harrowing Hades and destroying Hades, no other person will ever be humiliated to the point that they will have a spiritual and a physical death. So we all have an opportunity to be united and being one with God. And during the Saturday service, people will tap their chairs and make a ruckus. It's quite confronting, and it's beautiful. And that symbolises the earthquake that ripped the curtain, and where Jesus destroyed the gates of Hades. And whilst Jesus was down in Hades, preaching to all of those souls, he went to the outer reaches in search of one, or should I say two people, but one in particular. He walked and he searched for one person, and he could hear the whimpering, he could hear the crying, he could hear the distress of this person who was whimpering, crying, and in distress from the day that he died. And he found him. He found him and his wife, who were both at the outer reaches of Hades. That person was Adam, the man that was crafted, was made with God's hand out of clay, and Eve, who was made out of Adam. So what we're saying here is that Jesus preached to those in Hades, but he also, most significantly, preached to the first sinner, in terms of Adam and Eve, who were expelled from paradise. And the resurrection icon that the Greek Orthodox have on Easter Sunday, and it's the same icon that Archbishop Stylianos said is the icon of icons. It's the icon that we have on our coffin at our funerals. It is the icon that gives hope to each and every person. It's the icon which depicts Adam and Eve being lifted out of Hades by Jesus. And in that icon you can see the doors are smashed, the keys and locks and all of those things are annihilated, and Satan is bound, unable to have control, dominion over the souls of the people who now no longer are entrapped in Hades. So a triumphant Jesus lifts Adam and Eve out of Hades, and you'll notice that both Adam and Eve are being lifted up by Jesus by their wrists, but their hands are limp. Their hands are limp, and the limp hand symbolizes that Adam and Eve, with their humility, are saying that we are not worthy of being resurrected. We're not worthy of being freed of Hades for what we did, not only to Jesus or to God, but to mankind in total. So once again, it's a beautiful icon, and it's got Old Testament figures, it's got New Testament figures on either side, looking in wonderment at this miracle of miracles, how Jesus on Easter Saturday descended into Hades and lifted Adam and Eve and all the souls of the righteous and unrighteous, potentially, and freedom from death, and frees all of us from death as well. But that harrowing of Hades and that descent into Hades is celebrated every Easter Saturday across Greece, and especially in a place called Corfu, where people have pots which they have got on their balconies, red pots, and these pots are dropped from the balcony on Easter Saturday to celebrate and to remind ourselves and to commemorate the harrowing of Hades on Easter Saturday, where Jesus descends into Hades and destroys it once and for all. So what I did today is I thought that I would commemorate that event as well as what they do in Corfu. And the bottom line is that a Greek Orthodox is a Greek Orthodox regardless of where they live. You know, you don't have to live in Corfu to celebrate the biblical events that inspire us and uplift us in our world. So what I did is I went to Bunnings, bought these pots, bought some paint, painted them red, and what I did today with my granddaughters is I got them to drop them from the balcony and to smash them so that they too could experience the beautiful message of the New Testament, the beautiful message of the resurrection. And as we said, it's called the first resurrection because it's the day that the souls from Hades were resurrected. Not to be confused with the resurrection of Jesus, which happens on Easter Sunday. So this first resurrection is where Jesus descends into Hades and lifts and frees all of those who had died. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to commemorate that event by dropping a pot from the balcony so that we can vicariously enjoy this moment together. So here is the pot, and once again this pot here represents allegorically Hades. It's just a normal pot, but you can imagine that is a place of emptiness, a place devoid of God and apart from God and away from God, and a place that all the souls were being locked up and held captive in. And Jesus on Easter Saturday went down there and annihilated the gates of Hades once and for all. So let's have some fun, and I've got my little target down there, and let's see how we go with annihilating or representing the annihilation of Hades. There we go. How dramatic and how beautiful is that? So wishing all of my friends and family Galia Nastasi, happy Resurrection Sunday, and may we all celebrate Easter with our loved ones, with our families, with love, and with the hope of a better future for each and every one of us. To be comforted knowing that all of those who have died prior to Resurrection Sunday were offered freedom from death. And all of the rest of us after Resurrection Sunday have no longer a fear, are no longer fearful of Hades or of Satan, because Hades is no longer a place of torment, a place of detention. The gates of Hades are destroyed, and as we witnessed, as dramatically as we saw today, were destroyed by Jesus through his death, conquering death. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of my Greek Orthodox Odyssey. As I say, I'm not a theologian, I'm not a priest, I'm just a sinner like everybody else, an unworthy sinner, but I do take interest and I do enjoy learning my culture, learning my religion, and try to, as best as I can, live, learn, and pass it on. Pass it on to my family, to my friends, and to future generations in simple words, in simple examples, so that we can at least be on the same page, so that we are comforted. The most important thing is to be comforted, knowing that Jesus, the God-man, came for our salvation, came to help us, came to save us. And all we need to do is two things, according to Jesus: to love God, love Jesus with all your heart, mind, and soul, and to love one another, to love your neighbour, love your enemy, love all of those around you that you know and that you don't know. Love them as you would love yourself and as you love yourself. So to be respectful, kind, and to be a servant to God and to humanity. Anyway, thank you very much. I've really enjoyed doing this post today. It's not easy talking about these subjects for fear of being ridiculed. But what I sit and say to myself is that time is passing for all of us. The years are galloping ahead. So I prefer to be in a position where I can leave some empowering messages or pass on these messages to friends and family, rather than have it stay in my mind, stay in my head, or stay with this generation and not get passed to future generations. Because at the end of the day, we are all links. We are all strong links in a long, long chain that goes into the past. We don't know who the first Christian convert is or was in our family, and we don't know for how many more generations Christianity will continue in our family. Of course, my dream, my hope is for Christianity to continue forever and ever in our families, and to make sure that each new person that comes into the family is as strong a link as what the good people who came before us. So spread the good word, spread the message, and be confident. Be confident that what we do, we don't do through folly. We don't do because it's a myth. It's the one and only truth. That is what we believe. So thank you once again, and I'll finish off with Galia Nasasi to each and every one, and que tu chrono may year. May more people take an opportunity to smash a red pot like I did today, and to celebrate Easter Saturday and commemorate it with honour and respect. Doxa tō Theo, Bye for now.